one of the big revelations, as the book, began to make its way out there, was you're talking about your personal life, your kind of, discovery of yourself, and that was something that, you had never discussed publicly before, and it was an important part of the book, and it made a big impact. I wonder if you could, say a little bit about, we've heard so many stories just here tonight. The book very easily could just have been exclusively devoted to music and really had nothing about your personal life in it. Well, what was it that made you feel that it was important, to share elements of your background from Brooklyn right up into, the nature of your life?
All right, I'll do that. And but I do want to say, because somehow in the conversation I had earlier this evening, it became relevant to point out that other than you, Anthony, with whom I collaborated with and for this book from the very beginning, the publisher knew nothing about this. This was not in the treatment. This was not in the presentation.
It was very specifically not in the proposal to sell the book.
It was not in the proposal. So that nobody who bid on this book,
the editor of the book, had no idea that it would be in there.
This was not trying to get a subject that would make a book sell better. There's none of that. And when you read the book, you'll see it's dealt with in the very last chapter. I knew from the beginning, as I expressed to you at the very beginning, that if I was going to write a book on my life, there's no question I was going to deal with the subject. It was nothing you and I discussed. It was a chapter that I had to write myself. And I really wrote it last summer on a boat, a trip that I take with my family, because certainly my prime role in life has been my children. I have 4. My grandchildren, I have 6. And I wrote that part of the last chapter and read it to my 4 offspring who were on the boat together. And I've always had total love and support and understanding that after my second marriage failed, because I had been 100% up until that point, that I opened myself up after the failure of my second marriage, having read something about reality. My story was different. I just found that I would open myself up to the possibility of a relationship based on the person and not on gender. And I did, after seeing a man or a woman for about a 4 or 5 year period of time, entered into a relationship with a man. And I just revealed that because that's what the facts were and are. And to the extent when I was aware, I immediately told my children. My children knew of that. My closest friends certainly all knew, because we would take trips together. I would take 3 or 4 trips a year, 2 with family, 2 with friends. We would all do it together.
And now, with the Diddy scandal exploding and lawsuits piling up, more rumors are boiling to the surface. Ones that connect Clive and Diddy in ways that were never spoken of before. We're talking about whispers of power exchanges that had little to do with music and more to do with control, image, and submission.
So I have to ask you, what was your favorite memory working with Diddy?
Personally, I've got to tell you, he really is a major star in this film tonight. He's a spokesman all the way through. I met him before I ever knew of him. I met him when he was 21 years old. And when we met, he played me Craig Mack Flavor in Your Ear. He played me 3 cuts from the forthcoming Notorious B.I.G. album. And we talked for hours and hours about music, and I poured into his dream. And I financed Bad Boy Records. And we had an incredible run, an incredible period. with all the artists that are touring, from Mace and him, and obviously the great legacy of Vicky and, Faith and 112, so that total, I don't want to leave anybody out, but, we shared conventions and conferences and rallies together, and to see him, the time that Whitney died, that night when we were at, my Grammy party, and it was Puffy.
They sacrificed and did it. They said, "We gotta take this because we can't be involved." But Diddy smart. He filmed every session, so he was live and Freak Boy that run Universal Music Group. So he got them on some tapes. Now that's why they raiding the house, because they got friends in Homeland Security and the Feds, and they said get in there and get them tapes from this trying to blackmail us. That's what I believe is going on.
My focus right now is Sean Combs because he's African. Most likely because he was victimized by his mentor, Clyde Davis. Then what happened? Allegedly, Diddy got on his knees for Clyde Davis in 1994.
He got a boss too, and his boss name is Clyde Davis. Clyde run him. Diddy don't run himself.
And let's not ignore the timing. With Clive now reportedly over 90 years old, not 100, but pushing it. He was recently seen leaving a high-end event when reporters confronted him about Diddy's freak-offs and deeper ties.
What's your opinion about the Melendez brothers? Do you think they should be out? How you doing, Mr. Davis? Good. Do you have any opinions about Mr. Melendez? American Music Awards. Are you going to be there? AMAs? American Music Awards? Mr. Davis, what? If we have... Oh, sorry, what? If we have one question, Mr. Davis, about Sean Puffy Combs, do you have anything to say about that situation? No. Nothing? Anything to say about Puffy? Do you support him? Anything to say about Puffy at all? A lot of people are curious about the status of P. Diddy. P. Diddy. Diddy. What do you make of that situation? No comment from Clive Davis.
Two legends, two cautionary tales. Barry White, who always stood firm and called the game what it was. He warned Luther, told him not to fall into the same hands. He told people about the price of fame and the greed that swallows souls. Luther Vandross, gentle, reserved, and brilliant. Someone who just wanted to sing, to love, to express. But what he found in the industry was pressure, image manipulation, isolation, and a powerful man behind the curtain controlling too much.
What happened? Believe me when I say it is as much a shock to me as it is to anyone. But about, I'd say 3 weeks before his death, I went to visit him, and when I got ready to leave, there was a difference.
A good way? A good difference or
It
not?
was strange. It was very strange. And I called his manager and I said to him, Carmen, I think I'm
associated with Luther Vandross. What do you think of when you think of his music?
I like remembering when he was coming into his music and how he shocked me.
How so? What happened?
Yeah, I know that he loved music because you could make him clean the house like a electric maid if you tell him you're going to buy him a record. He just loved it.
Now there's this new album. So amazing. What do you think of when you see all of these big names singing your son's music?
What I think about this is all the love he had for these people. These people have turned around and gave back the love to him. And that's why I know when you give love, you get love.
So, what do you think? Was Clive really the reason Luther spiraled? How many artists have to fall before we call it what it is? Let us know in the comments below. And if you like this video, hit that subscribe button so that you never miss out on any new videos. Until then, fam, keep it real.
This is the premium garment duffel 45 liter by Half Day. It's a transforming 2-in-1 travel duffel bag for long week.
And then now this whole P. Diddy thing.
Sometimes you have to tell Diddy no.
Oh, man, bruh.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, man.
Sean Diddy Combs' alleged list of accomplishments to be revealed soon. The names will shock you, attorney says. Whoa.
I think he's gonna sing, I think
he has to sing or he
Bro,
goes
also,
to
I'll
jail
tell you
for the
one
rest of his
thing.
life. Well, it's just amazing how many people on the Diddy party list that are supporting Kamala. Too.
Yeah, seriously, it's like insane.
Publicly, openly, like
Yeah.
all in.
Yes, it's like J-Lo like was like his ex-girlfriend, and it's like now deciding she's like warning people against Trump. I'm like, well, wait a second. So how many people did she warn against Diddy?
Right.
Oh, 0. Okay.
Well. It looks like Diddy's legal drama just leveled up. And guess who's been stirring the pot from his podcast? Joe Rogan. Over several episodes with different guests, Joe didn't hold back and has been casually breaking down which celebrities could be heading straight to jail alongside Diddy. And let's be honest, the names being thrown around are shocking. Let's get into it. One person that didn't shock us when she was mentioned was Jennifer Lopez, aka Jenny from the block. When Joe Rogan had Elon Musk on his show, he had a lot to say about Jennifer Lopez.
But I mean, like if she's gonna be warning people, why does she never warn anyone about Diddy?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The whole thing is so strange to watch play out.
Let's face it, Elon probably mentioned J-Lo because he was campaigning for Trump back then, but he was low-key saying what everyone's been thinking. I mean, if you dated Diddy during his peak chaos era and came out unscathed, people will start asking questions. In case you've been living under a rock, J-Lo and Diddy were the it couple of the late 90s. We're talking fashion statements and the works. In fact, did you know that J-Lo wore her iconic green dress that made her the most Googled image on earth on her date to the red carpet with Diddy? These two were head over heels for each other. But things took a sharp left in 1999 after a nightclub shooting in NYC. Shots were fired, someone got injured, and boom, J-Lo and Diddy were caught fleeing the scene in a car. Charges were dropped for Jenny, but she made sure to get her man out of jail too by telling everyone that he wasn't involved in the shooting.
Your car drove by, saw a female man throwing a gun out of the car. You're the only female in the car. You don't want to talk about it? You very confident that Puffy will be found innocent in this trial?
Yes, I will.
You're going to testify?
If they need me.
Diddy got acquitted, and his friend and protege at that time, Moses Michael Barrow, aka Shine, was thrown into a 10-year prison sentence, serving 9 of those years behind bars. Fast forward to today, and with Diddy's name tangled in everything, Shine has come out to say that Diddy was actually guilty in 1999, and he took the fall for everything.
I was defending him, and he turned around and called witnesses to testify against me, and he contributed. He pretty much sent me to prison.
The issue is people are starting to question if Jennifer was truly innocent and was just defending her man, or if she participated in sending someone innocent to jail. After all, she still dated Diddy for 2 years after that incident before the two split. It didn't seem like she was intimidated by Diddy, so did she know the kind of person he was, and what does that say about her?
Everybody else that's left her, oh, she was do this, she was this, she was that. But Diddy said she was perfect.
She was meant for a medal.
What happens if you're only perfect for the devil?
J-Lo's connection to that night could open up a whole new legal can of worms. And if the truth about what she knew or did know comes out, she might not get away with it this time. This next celebrity is quite shocking. People think that Will Smith and Diddy may be connected. They've crossed paths a few times, mostly at industry events and high-profile parties, but that's where the connection ends. But Jaguar Riot thinks Will was involved in some of Diddy's weird freak-offs, where he openly abused people.
Yeah, no, we gonna pray for Mr. Gray, man. If he needs prayer, I don't even know what's going on.
They're trying to sue him out so he'll feel too embarrassed to file his lawsuit against Diddy for what Will and Diddy did to him. With Jaden and Justin present, that tape exists.
Despite some paparazzi photos of them together, there does not seem to be a solid bond between the two. Will's made it clear that he's got no ties to Diddy's ongoing legal troubles, and he's been outspoken about it. He took the stage at the Observatory North Park in San Diego on December 12th, and during a break in the show, he couldn't resist addressing the memes circulating online that have been trolling his past connection to Diddy.
I haven't addressed any of this publicly, but I just want to say this very clearly. I don't have shit to do with Puffy, so y'all can stop all the memes. I can stop all of that bullshit. Will adds, I ain't been nowhere near no damn freak off. I do enough of my own shit. Don't be putting me in other people's bullshit. I ain't been nowhere near that man. I ain't did none of that stupid shit.
It was a bizarre moment, really. He was in the middle of his set, and then out of nowhere, he starts talking about all the speculation surrounding him.
Eating too much salt causes hypertension, right? Nope. What about too much bacon and red meat? Nope. It's actually calcium buildup that turns arteries to stone. Do this to clear calcified arteries fast. Most folks are totally wrong about what's really causing hypertension, right? And look, hey, it's not their fault, because a discovery made by an award-winning lipidologist shocked even the most experienced cardiologist. He found that the real killer is not high blood pressure or cholesterol. It's something far more insidious. The process that starts in your toes and silently works its way up. By the time you reach 70, it affects 90% of men and 67% of women. It's called coronary artery calcification. Heart specialists, they got a more accurate name for it, stone heart syndrome, because, well, that's literally what happens. It turns your arteries hard as stone. Think about that for a second. Your arteries, which should be soft and flexible, are literally becoming as rigid as the bones in your body. And it happens without any warning signs until it's too late. Because by the time most people discover they have stone heart syndrome, their arteries are already hardening. Their blood vessels, they're already narrowing, and their heart is already struggling to pump blood to vital organs. In fact, when you're 55 or older, your heart is already likely fighting for dear life, which means you could just be moments away from a fatal heart attack or stroke. And the scary part, traditional approaches, they don't even address stone heart syndrome at all. Eating less salt, it's not going to help. Regular exercise, it won't reverse it. Even most blood pressure medications, they don't even touch the root cause. That is why award-winning lipidologist Dr. Lewis started researching this hidden thread, and what he discovered, it's remarkable. An easy at-home ritual that can help flush your arteries, improve blood flow, and support overall heart health. All you need is 7 seconds each morning. It's so safe and effective, you can do it from the comfort of your own home, no matter your age or your current situation. Dr. Lewis just posted a free video explaining how this DIY morning protocol works. Click below to see Dr. Lewis explain how it can help keep your arteries clear and flexible well into your 70s, 80s, 90s, and beyond. Don't wait until your arteries become as rigid as concrete. Dr. Lewis's easy once-a-day artery cleaning method is already helping thousands of folks avoid the very real and deadly dangers of stone heart syndrome. Feel way more energetic, alive, and in control of their health. Click the button below to watch Dr. Lewis's presentation.
His name and Diddy. Makes you wonder if there's more to this story than he's letting on, right? Will was quick to deny any involvement in the drama surrounding Diddy, but interestingly, he didn't say much about his son Jaden, who's been tightly connected to this mess too. Back in the day, Jaden had a close relationship with both Justin Bieber and Diddy. Jaden, being around his father's circle, may have been exposed to some of the same toxic environments. But let's be clear, this is all just speculation. There's no proof that Will was involved in anything, and it's all based on rumors circulating in the industry. And you know how many people have been connecting Diddy and Jay-Z lately. For years, folks have whispered that these two weren't just industry peers, they were deep, especially when it came to business. From nightclubs and clothing lines to other investments, their names have been tangled together in more than a few ventures. That's why Jaguar Wright stirred a lot of controversy during her appearance on Piers Morgan Uncensored. Rather than just Diddy, she extended her allegations to include Jay-Z and Beyonce, claiming they were monsters with hundreds of victims
who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things.
Let's be real, Jay-Z has always played the role of the untouchable mogul, but this man proved it when his legal squad swooped in. They hit up Piers Morgan and basically said, take that video down or get sued. And guess what? Piers folded. He edited the interview and gave an on-air apology to the Carters. The polished businessman has a great media team, but Diddy's downfall has sparked questions about whether Jay was truly in the dark or just smart enough to stay in the shadows. After all, they're both running the same elite circle, attending the same exclusive parties, working with the same artists, and closing deals that never quite make it into the press. Some are even suggesting that Jay-Z may have benefited from Diddy's mess behind the scenes while keeping his image pristine in public. What do you think? This next celebrity who is in hot water is Cuba Gooding Jr. According to Lil Rod, Diddy's producer, he didn't just introduce him to Cuba on a yacht in January 2023. He allegedly tried to serve him up like a fancy little hors d'oeuvre. That's right. Lil Rod claims Diddy was grooming him to be passed off to Cuba.
Cuban Gooding Jr. was so close to that man, I would thought that was his lady.
Lil Rod didn't hold back. In his lawsuit, he accused Cuba of groping him without consent, saying the actor put his hand on his thigh and tried to push up on him when they were alone. Rod claims he rejected him multiple times, but Cuba kept pushing. The whole encounter allegedly left him shaken and furious. But don't go canceling Cuba just yet. He clapped back real quick. He said he barely knows Diddy, was only on that yacht for a hot minute, and had zero time for any of that nonsense. According to Cuba, he's being dragged into this circus for one reason: money.
How do you fully escape it though? Like your name, for example, was mentioned in the Diddy case.
Which was the most ridiculous thing ever.
Because you barely know
This is the
him, right?
most ridiculous thing ever. But again, welcome to being a celebrity. Welcome to my world.
Do you believe that Cuba has never attended a Diddy party or made any advances? Now everyone's side-eyeing Cuba and wondering what really went down on that boat. Because let's be real, no one casually ends up in the middle of Diddy's ship. All right, let's get into Stevie J because his name has been floating around this Diddy drama. Now, for those who need a refresher, Stevie J isn't just some love and hip-hop reality show star. Long before the messy TV fame, he was a Grammy-winning producer and a core member of Diddy's Hitman production team.
The magnesium in your cabinet is not only filled with heavy metals, but it also can be making your age faster, and I'm about to prove it. Did you know that one of these tiny magnesium capsules has up to 46 times the metals than others? But how can you tell which is which? Well, I'll tell you. You spend a bunch of money and send a bottle into independent, unaffiliated laboratories that specialize in testing supplements for contaminants. And in a few weeks, they send you back a report just like this, which will give you the results. Now, we've done this many times for both.
At Bad Boy Records. Translation, he was in Diddy's inner circle during the wildest, most unhinged years of the Bad Boy empire. What's really raising eyebrows is that Stevie wasn't just a colleague, he was a housemate. Yup, he reportedly lived with Diddy for a period, and that puts him smack in the middle of the chaos that's now been exposed, with all these disturbing accusations surfacing about what went on behind closed doors at Diddy's parties and homes. People are wondering just how much Stevie saw or helped cover up. And let's not pretend he's not enjoying some strategic silence right now. He's not defending Diddy, but he's also not distancing himself. I plead the fifth energy. Adding to the heat is that Stevie J has a long history of questionable behavior himself. Lawsuits, child support drama, alleged drug use, you name it. So when folks online say he's next, it's not coming out of thin air. It's the proximity, the silence, and the messiness of his own track record that are painting a target on his back. It wouldn't be surprising if investigators start asking questions, especially if other insiders start talking and name him as someone who knew too much. Now, to be clear, Stevie J hasn't been charged or publicly accused of anything criminal related to the Diddy scandal yet. But let's be real. The way these dominoes are falling, if Diddy goes down and starts snitching to save himself, people like Stevie better start sweating. For now, the court proceedings surrounding Diddy's mounting legal woes are heating up, and now things are getting even more serious. Jury selection is officially on the horizon. Yup, they're starting to look for jurors, which means this isn't just another media circus. It's heading straight into the courtroom, and no one's walking away untouched. So here are some of the stuff the judge would look out for when picking out a juror. First is someone who has a strong heart. Let's be honest, this trial is not for those who are easily intimidated or easily blush at the sight of a suggestive message. We're talking graphic evidence, uncomfortable videos like that infamous Cassie Hotel clip, and adult content. If you're someone who needs a trigger warning for everything,
everything, it won't work. The prosecution requires an individual who can endure discomfort and maintain focus on the facts rather than their emotion. Given the nature of the allegations and the fact that jurors have already said they've seen the Cassie footage, the court is carefully screening people with personal experiences of domestic violence. Those traumas can understandably affect how someone views a case. If you've lived it or watched someone close to you suffer through it, you might find it hard to stay objective. The court needs folks who can put emotion aside, even when the details get horrifying. Also, whether you're a diehard Bad Boy record stan or still bumping I'll Be Missing You during your playlist, you gotta check that at the door. This case isn't about his Billboard hits, his empire, or how he changed hip-hop. It's about whether he committed serious crimes. Also, this case isn't just he said, she said. It involves complex charges, legal jargon, and lots of technical evidence. Jurors need to be able to process all of that without needing a translator. So someone who's intellectually sharp but also has common sense, ideal. You gotta be able to spot manipulation, see through glitz, and critically evaluate every grainy video and witness testimony thrown your way. Finally, let's talk age, the sweet spot, late 30s to 50s. Old enough to remember the rise of Diddy, young enough to keep up with TikTok leaks and Reddit threads. This age group likely grew up with his music, but they're also grown enough to separate the man from the myth. They've seen celebrities rise and fall before, so they won't be dazzled, but they'll also recognize how quick the public can turn. That kind of balance is exactly what both sides hope. That's it, guys. This Diddy drama just keeps giving. From Joe Rogan spilling tea on possible celeb witnesses to J-Lo's shady past creeping back in, and even Cuba Gooding Jr.
Terrence Howard was in the news recently for talking about the issues that go on with Backdoria. Terrence Howard said something about once your manhood been grabbed up out of you, you need therapy. Am I right?
What benefit is that if I lose my integrity? You got to go in as a principal. And what we were brought in here as men. We produce 1,500 sperm per heartbeat for a reason, because the aggression is necessary. You don't trade that, no matter what.
Because P. Diddy be wanting the body. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no.
There's a lot of things that people do that end up sitting and they can't get over it. And they got to keep getting high, hoping to get it out of their head. You know, but when you lose your man card, if you lose your damn man card...
What is that? What do you mean by that?
You give up your ability, your right to being a man. A man don't take it, a man gives it. So when you give up that man card, you don't get that back.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
No, I'm saying what I'm saying.
I would love him to come on the show, because you know what I want to ask him? How was you able to work on the set of Empire as a heterosexual man? I know you were hated upon if you wasn't part of the Brown Hotel Rat crew.
That's some funny ass.
I'm just saying, if you're not part of the disposable hotel rag mob, not gonna fit in on the set.
After you complete these 15 episodes of Empire, you gotta walk away for a while or forever?
I mean, everyone keeps trying to tell me, don't say it's forever, but I spent 37 years pretending to be people so that people can pretend to watch and enjoy what I'm doing when I've made some discoveries in my own personal life.
Come to find out, he's not a Bentley Farnsworth.
This is about things you're too young to understand, man. This is about thuggin' love.
The makeup trailer, it's like where the gangs meet up on the Backdoria side.
Chili doggers.
The chili doggers. Listen, man. When you on set, you go to the makeup truck. Do you know if a heterosexual male is in the makeup truck while everybody else is in there, you throw off everything? The makeup truck, when you are on set, men like to walk up to each other and but if you in there, a heterosexual male, they be like, this is how they do it. They all let you know. They gotta look. He in here, yo. The guy who likes only vaginas in here. They say it with their eyes. When you walk into makeup, this is how they do it.
I'm like, yo, why wouldn't you sign? He said, because I don't want a label playing with my life.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
That's bad. That's real.
That means playing with, okay, because I'm gonna expose, that means playing with your butt.
Yo, Terrence Howard said Diddy try to. I know. He said Diddy try to put that in his butt, bro. That's crazy.
What was it now?
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while.
Well, shout out to Terrence Howard for keeping it all the way real. Not too many people's doing that. They too scared to speak out.
I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. He's sitting there, just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to, that's what my assistant said. I was like, oh, okay. Now I get it.
I would like to ask Terrence Howard how he survived on the set of Empire. When if you're not with it, you are public enemy number one. You were the head of the set. Am I right? You're a heterosexual male on the set of Empire. How did you pull it off? I want to know, Mr. Howard. Please come on the 5150 show. I know you have stories to tell that you really want to get off. Come tell it on a real platform where the real truth is able to come out, because we are who we say we are. You had the wrong guy, Diddy. You had the wrong guy. We got to keep it real. He thought he had one. Light skin, black pride in him, even though he passing for white. All the lessons to a pimpin' off and put me up on the game. It really ain't no love, it's about this paper, man.
I made $12,000 for doing Hustle and Flow. What Paramount did, instead of putting my name as Terrence Howard performing the songs, they put performed by DJ. Well, they own DJ. So guess what? The performance royalties went to Paramount. They went $12,000. That's all I ever made from Hustle and Flow.
No, it ain't over for me. I'ma step my game up and get what's coming to me.
He killed that thing. Hey, man. Come on. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Right. He killed that. He's a great actor. Great actor. But the set of Empire smelled like they was cooking chitlins all day long.
Exactly what he's talking about in Hollywood is just saturated the political scene, too. Too much in politics today is exactly the same thing. People who compromise their souls, their man card, their woman card to get somewhere, and the whole scene from local, state, and federal.
I believe that's a big problem with a lot of the actors out there, because they get fluid. And next thing you know, once you go fluid, it's gone. You don't have any foundation to pull yourself back from. So maintain your man card, no matter what.
You see Bieber struggling with that. You see some of these guys struggling with that.
They can't get it out of their head. The things that they did, no matter how they did it, whether it was drunk or high or whatever, you gave up your man card.
I walk in the studio and just seen uncomfortability to my eyes. It's what I'm not used to seeing two men do when I look at them. A powerful man at that. I walked in the studio and seen two powerful men doing things that was uncomfortable to my eyes.
I don't like dealing with people who feel like they're in a position of power where if you do whatever they want or you please them or you make them happy, you kiss their ass, they can change your life. I will never be in a position like that. I will buy a broke man before I have to sit in front of another man and be like, do you like it? What do you think?
Hey, y'all want to hoop, man? What we doing?
Terrence, let me guard you, Daddy. This the Diddy here. I'm not even getting out the car.
Diddy, you not guarding me, man.
I'm not playing basketball with P. Diddy.
He trying to guard that man from the back.
Take a shot. I'm finna come take the ball and make you take a shot, baby.
Why you talking about grabbing balls, man?
I can tell you the ball isn't the only thing Diddy's gonna be grabbing.
I thought he said meatballs.
Yo, Sean, relax. He's not gonna want to play with you. There's no reason for me to get out the car.
Cass, you got something you didn't get off your chest, man?
Terrence, I don't even know why you invited me to this.
Go ahead, where's your pick teams, man? Why he get to pick team?
Why would we let you pick team?
Cause I'm the best.
Stop being like that. We making love on the court, Daddy. Now he talking about making love.
That's talking about making love.
Every year, it's a new disaster. Bird flu, swine flu, World War III, killer astronauts, New World Order. What was it, the Trisexual Commission? What the hell is a trisexual anyway?
Bilateral.
Polite savage.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Ladies and gentlemen of polite savages, we are now about to embark on a journey, sure to anger Diddy apologists and those who want to take that alike. Every time we get out, we think it's over, but something else comes up. It blows in the wind, and it's almost that time. Cinco de Diddy, that's right, he's going to trial. It's not going to be televised, but there's going to be updates after updates. And what do you know, heating up, Terrence Howard came on the PBD broadcast and said, hey, I think Diddy was trying to get in the backdooria action with me. Par for the course. But what was more impressive is that Terrence Howard exposed the secrets of Hollywood that so many people don't have long careers and they can't sustain, do drugs because guess what? They had to trade their manhood to get off. The casting couch goes both ways.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
You think these artists that make all this money are free men and women? They're minstrels from a plantation. All your black sports figures are pieces of meat, bought and sold, but not free. Newspapers enslaved, black magazines enslaved, black radio stations enslaved, black television enslaved. Don't tell me I don't know what I'm talking about.
Playing the game means if I should bend you over and whip you, you know not to talk because I can ruin your career. If I should put my penis in your mouth, you know not to talk because I can ruin your career. If I want you to be a slave and work for free, you know not to talk because I can ruin your career.
And that trade their bodies to go and get the role. They get to the point where they have their Oscar, they have their money, but they don't have their dream. They don't have the soul that they started with. So it's like achieving don't mean anything.
So could this be an explanation why some of these artists' trajectory of their career kind of fizzles out in the wind? Maybe they said no. Maybe they had a reputation for not being cooperative with the producers, the directors, and the power brokers.
If I pursued an agent, I would get a couple of movies. Yeah. Maybe a TV show run for a little while until they find a way. You know how they did that one brother? He was a brother on that Chicago show. He was in a lot of stuff, but all of a sudden he became a villain.
So why did Washington leave Grey's while it was still so popular? During an argument on set with Dempsey and fellow cast member T.R. Knight in 2006, Washington leveled a homophobic slur at Knight. Knight publicly announced that he was queer.
After initially denying he used the slur, the actor later apologized.
Until he dug a deeper hole for himself at the Golden Globes in January 2007, where he used the slur again. Before long, ABC announced that it would terminate Washington's contract.
It is with a heavy heart and a sense of relief that I am announcing my early retirement from the entertainment industry. All know that I have fought the good fight, but it seems that the haters, provocateurs, and the useful idiots have won.
Oh, I can't think of his name.
Kind of lost his mind and went crazy.
That's what they said about Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
That's what they said about Dave Chappelle. What they say?
People were saying, though, that you were on drugs, you lost your mind, you went into a mental institution. What is true, what is not?
Not on.
Not on.
I'm telling you, I was incredibly stressed out and just trying to stay out of trouble.
Right.
Your realm of getting in trouble is worse than the average person.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like the average dude gotta go out and look for trouble. I'd be sitting around mind my own business, and dude come up, hey man, you Dave Chappelle? I'm like, yeah, what's up, man? Hey, I got 12 niggas hot air balloon. You trying to roll with me? And my wife's still a little salty at me.
She's not happy with you right now?
Don't think you're gonna walk away from $50 million and your wife's just gonna be cool with you. I thought I was gonna get the Jerry Maguire, baby, you can be anything you want to be speech.
Yeah.
It didn't pan out. It was more like purple rain around my house.
People say that. He lost $50 million. No, that's not even close to what happened to this dude. And until you understand what happened to the dude, you don't understand what happened. Like, no, not
they offered him $50 million and he turned it down. Who gonna turn down $50 million? Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times.
You disappeared for a while. People were saying, where's Dave? Where's Dave Chappelle? Where's he going? And then it turns out you took a trip to Africa. Is that true?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they said.
Right. You're hearing all kinds of stuff on the news.
It was crazy, man. Well, first I went to Africa to chill, and next thing I started hearing all the stories like comedian Dave Chappelle's in a mental institution in South Africa. And I was like, man, I must be losing my mind.
Yeah.
Because I thought this was the beach. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did.
Hearing on the news things like he's gone crazy, which doesn't sound right.
Well, you know, maybe I know stuff people don't want me to talk about. So, what other people believe, so they'll call me crazy. But it was a weird thing to get called crazy. At first it was scary, and then now I feel like it's liberating. Like, I feel free, like I can just say what I want to do. They already call me crazy. I'm crazy. I can't
it's not your fault. Yeah. Was there a reason that you decided to go to Africa?
If you a black dude trying to hide, Africa is a good place. It's
It does feel like this whole thing has freaked you up a little bit, you know?
Sure. Excuse me 1 second.
That'll be the clip they use on the news. Dave was on Conan. He's lost his mind.
Because they gonna come with a story about you. When they do with you, you about to get smeared.
Yeah. But in any case, let's get back and focus right on Diddy. It seems like this guy had a 25-year reign of terror. He's always after something, trying to get in somebody's cheeks. Cheeks, cheeks, cheeks. Maybe this guy needs to stay out of them cheeks, because chasing cheeks got him in a whole lot of trouble. And there's a lot of conspiracy theories. Maybe he made the wrong person upset. Maybe he did this. Maybe he did that. But the bottom line is, this can't all be, or can it be, all allegedly a big conspiracy to bring him down to earth because maybe he had too much dip on his chip. Maybe his orbit was too high. Could it be that maybe Diddy knew some of the things that he shouldn't have knew and played the game the way he shouldn't have played it, and thought that he didn't only have money, but also fooled himself to think he had some power?
It's been said by all of our leaders, and I want to address it. They keep saying we need to focus on generational wealth. Black people need to focus on generational wealth, right? Let me give you someone who had generational wealth. Puff. Generational wealth, but why were they able to take him down? Because Puff didn't have generational power.
Because could it be the demonic energy inside of him and the power tripping energy inside of him that makes him chase down these men and bust these cheeks? Or is it just a power trip on 10? And we can all come to realize the difference between Puff and other folks, that he really didn't have the juice to get out of the situations, because a lot of folks have been arrested and let off. Accusations have risen, but it did not stick. Because like Ray Daniels said, Puff thought he had the juice, but what he really only had was money. And a lot of folks, even though that green will spin anywhere, that green don't make you different from what you are. Only power can start, and just start to equalize the situation. But to keep it a buck, I don't know. I don't know if he really did everything, or is he guilty of a criminal enterprise, because it is kind of interesting that it's a RICO with just one person charged. And is Terrence Howard actually telling something factual, or is he just part of the pile-on effect? Hey, let's pile it on. It seems like something good to do. Let's add more pressure, more stress, and more pain. Could it be that Mr. Howard is part of the whole Hollywood conglomerate that he claims not to be part of? This is the things that people want to know, but people will never know, because this is a grand conspiracy on steroids. And the prosecution wouldn't charge him if they didn't believe that they could actually prove that he was at least trafficking people across state lines for the purpose of payment and degeneracy. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. You dig?
People act like I feel sorry for Diddy. No. How you got $1 billion and want to it up? You got $1 billion. You live in a dream. You a black man, and you made $1 billion, dog. And instead of just being like, God, so good, you went into some power like you better than God almost. And God was like, I'll humble you.
The funny thing about Diddy is all the stuff that's coming out and all the stuff that people keep putting on him. Like, they're gonna mess up and let that man get free.
Wait a minute, you already see what happened, though. You see what happened?
The Drewski thing?
No, not the Drewski thing, not that one. I'm talking about the fact that Jay-Z got the other guy license revoked, and now he was in charge of all those cases against Diddy. Now they're saying there's no attorney attached to those cases anymore.
Wow.
And he can't operate in the state of New York as an attorney. He does not have a license anymore. So he is now done.
That's amazing.
So now the Diddy case is just up in the air now.
Yeah. They about to let that dude out.
Hey, they let that dude out. That's it. It's hell to pay. It is hell to pay. And you know what? He's coming for Alejandro and Josh first.
I've been in trouble in my day. I've been in a lot of trouble in my day. But man, let me tell you something. This guy fucking, buddy, this guy is in an enormous amount of trouble. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. They got this guy in a RICO case by himself. A lot of my friends asked me, they said, Dave, did you know anything about those free golf parties? I'd be like, no, man. I didn't know anything about free golf. And they all look at me like, and they be like, well, how all these people you know was at free golf, but she's the only one that wasn't at free golf. And I thought about it for a minute. I said, oh my God, I'm ugly. Oh.
Your hand. Take that time, Jay.
Can you imagine you and me reading the newspaper and found out everyone in Hollywood had an orgy behind your back?
Thank you for watching the Tip Network. Follow us on.
I think it's getting a little too late for those who are complicit.
That some were doubting you. Did you ever question, like, am I on the right path?
Oh, I never question that. Still don't. Never will. God leads me to do everything I do.
Jaguar Wright managed to come out so slickly when these Diddy-type creatures were out here eliminating people left and right. I mean, we've seen what happens to those who speak out. So how is Jaguar still standing? Well, the answer is simple. She's been through hell just to keep speaking the truth. And trust me, she's paid the price.
The life of a true whistleblower is to choose to have a life with no real existence. You have to move like the wind.
Right.
You know, people, they say I'm homeless because they don't know where I live, but the truth is I live in 5 different states simultaneously.
Yeah.
See, I had to learn to play 3-card Monte with my life.
Yep.
Now, you might get all my addresses, but you're just going to have to figure out when I'm there.
Exactly.
But you have to think like that. Your life is constant contingency, contingency, contingency. And then the people that they pay to come into your life.
Mm-hmm.
Truth is there's nobody that comes in my life that doesn't go through a very, very, very rigorous vetting process. I gotta.
Right.
If you got bad credit, we can't be friends. If you're in debt, we can't be friends. If popularity is what you're interested in, we can't be friends. Because see, these are all things that can be used to manipulate you. You got sick family members, I'ma pray for y'all from afar. Because you do anything to save their life, and the people that want me will pay anything.
See? That's the thing they don't want you to know. This isn't just about industry beefs or social media rants. This is about powerful forces working overtime to silence the ones who refuse to play by the rules. And Jaguar? She's the last person who's ever gonna back down. But let's make one thing clear. Jaguar doesn't just hint at things. She doesn't speak in riddles. Nah, she names names. And trust me, the list is long. We're talking Barack Obama, J-Lo, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Stevie J, Eve, even royals and politicians. She's not holding back at all. Stevie J, who was practically joined at the hip with Diddy, has been eerily silent. This is a man who loves attention, but lately, he's barely been seen.
I'm gonna tell you who I believe is on the tape. I believe Barack Obama got a tape.
Yeah, he's playing high note.
I know Jennifer Lopez has multiple tapes. I know Beyonce got a tape. I definitely know they probably recycled some old Stevie J and Eve stuff. I know Drake got a tape. I know Rihanna got a tape. I know Chris Brown's on one of them tapes. I know Trey Songz has been like a supporting actor in many freak off films. Definitely Usher. I think what would shock people are the politicians and the royals that were on that tape. And I'm still trying to figure out when Harry and Meghan are going to be honest about their freak off tape. I don't think anybody really wants to talk about the fact that the royal family had many times at Dixie Party, especially that weirdo uncle. Stevie J should be charged. Mary J. Blige should also be charged. Jennifer Lopez should definitely be charged. Should I keep going?
You hitting it off.
Jay-Z should be charged. Khaled should be charged. Rick Ross should be charged. Usher should be charged and tried with him. Or for Justin Bieber alone.
So for those who think Jag is just making up stories, let me ask you this. If Jaguar was just talking nonsense, why is it that every time she speaks out, someone in the industry starts moving real funny? Why are certain names always circling these industry scandals? Coincidence? Or is she really exposing a much darker reality? Because one thing's for sure, Jaguar knows too much. And if history has taught us anything, it's that people who know too much don't always get to tell the whole story. Now here's where things start getting real interesting. Because Jaguar Wright wasn't just the first one to call out the tragic fates of all the Uptown OGs, except for Diddy. She was also the first one to question why J-Lo always seems to slip away unscathed.
Uptown Records started with 5 Andre Harrell, and Kim was the longest working employee because she was there from the very beginning. She was Andre's personal assistant. Kim's dead. Heavy D's dead. Andre Harrell is dead. The only two left, Puffy and Al. And Al almost. Heavy D was found dead, placed down in
Take a picture. We'll use that. Hit that complete. On my glizzers. So we can load it on up. Somebody go come and help me? Anybody? If everybody don't stand up at one time. That manure stink too. Put that manure.